Now that Git is installed and configured, we're ready to use Git to start tracking changes in our sample project, which is a small website. Let's make a directory called repos to contain our Git repositories. At the same time, we can create a directory called website to hold our project. To do that, we can use the -p flag here, which creates intermediate directories as necessary. So if you don't have a repos directory, this will create it. In my case, I already have one, but it does no harm. Then we can cd into it. As we can see, this directory is empty, but we can already turn it into a repository using the init command, which is short for initialize. You can think of a repository as sort of an enhanced Unix directory with the additional ability to track changes to every file and subdirectory. The way you run a git command like init is first by typing the git command line command git, and then the name of the command, in this case init. We've actually already seen this once with git config, but that was a fairly advanced command with the command line flag and options and so on, so we weren't focusing on the structure. But now we're ready to start understanding how git commands work in general. Let's hit return and see the effect of this. And you can see that it says initialized empty Git repository in this case, users mhartle repos website.git. In case you're curious about the effect of that, we can do ls-a. I'm not going to tell you exactly which directory Git uses to track changes, because that's left as an exercise, but I think you can probably guess. At the level of this tutorial, and indeed in real life, it's not important to know exactly how Git does what it does. But the way it does it is by putting a special hidden directory inside the directory of each individual repository. By the way, you may notice the word master appearing here. This is the name of the default Git branch. Don't worry right now about what that means. We'll be talking about it later in this tutorial. What you should know is that the reason this branch name appears in my bash prompt is because I've already followed the optional advanced setup, which you can find later in the tutorial. It's not necessary to follow those steps at this time, but I'm going to leave my system configured this way because for the purposes of this screencast, it's useful to have the branch name right in the prompt.